All right, everyone. I'm going to keep that in there. All right, so welcome, everyone. This is the Shouldistart podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about business entrepreneurs, business gurus, photographers, visual artists, and all walks of life that I find successful and I lack in my life. I feel like these people have come into my life. They're successful in all the endeavors that they do. I have one of my good friends from the very beginning, watched him grow, done incredible projects. Vince Rives from Rives Media. You're the CEO. You're the
CEO, the president, the founder, the executive. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I am Rives Media. I'm the only employee of Rives Media.
Yeah. It's incredible to see you, where you've come from and how much you've grown. And it's good that I finally get to have you here. Hopefully you can instill some more wisdom in me and on the processing that you do, and then hopefully instill the listeners in the process of how they think. So for how you introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are.
How I introduce myself.
Because I introduced you, but that was a very talented.
No, that was like I'm walking on stage to present something. That was the introduction to the presentation. How I would present myself. Vince Rives. I am a creative producer. I am a creative multimedia producer.
Where are you from?
Born in Los Angeles, raised down here. Just back to that question. Who am I? I don't want to get too deep and philosophical with it, but, it's one thing to say I'm a photographer, videographer, but I just try to clump it all up in one, because the truth of the matter is I do work with photo, I do work with video, and just those elements. So I think that creative or actually multimedia producer sounds the most corporate. So if I'm on LinkedIn, you're going to find me as a multimedia producer. But yeah, if you find me around the city, I'll just introduce myself as a creative.
That's the street title.
It's just easier.
Yeah, I'm a creative too, but how I define it is I'm a multimedia specialist.
Oh, yeah. Specialist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they know it's one person.
That's the name of the game. You got to sell it like you're a 20-person crew.
Yeah, dude. Nike does it. It's just one shoe, but it's the company. You buy into the organizational culture, the aesthetic, how you feel. But enough about shoes. You're Nike'd out.
Yeah, just always. Shout out to Abstract, though, because this hat was actually super cool. I met Abstract when they were having I think it was called a Clásico, and it was Barcelona and Madrid. And actually, shout out to Wu, who introduced me to Abstract, because Abstract was having this customization piece over at the Nike store. He did the jerseys for the players that were on the field. Super cool. And then, purple's my favorite color, and I saw that I could customize the hat. This is almost my new go-to every time I go out.
It's your Coachella vibe.
I wouldn't say Coachella vibe. I would definitely say it's almost the uniform. The daily.
Nice. So, quick question. Before you got into the industry that you're in now, were any of your family members creatives?
My father, actually. I think I get the artistry and that creative gene is from my father's side of the family. My dad's a jeweler, and my grandmother is a chef, and she was actually she was a hairstylist too. And then my grandfather, her husband, he was a professor of ceramics in Cuba. So I've kind of as I was in this field, I realized that I had this kind of creative, artistic lineage before me. So it was just kind of funny once I realized that.
So they're crafters and intellectuals. Who do you think you gravitate towards the most? Your mother or your father, or your mother's side or your father's side?
No, it's both. I think the older I got, the more I saw myself and the traits and characteristics of both sides of my family. I think with my father, we're the more eccentric. I think she could definitely attest to that. Maria's here, by the way.
Yeah,
anyone that knows me, we can't tilt the camera because we're not there yet. But yeah, my father's side of the family is way more eccentric, much more charismatic, and a lot more personality. And I feel like my mother's side of the family is a lot more warm, empathetic, and just my mother's side of the family has a real heart for people. Is like how I see those two sides.
For sure. All right, cool. So you have your charming personality from your father, and then you have your emotional intelligence from your mother.
I guess that's pretty good. Yeah. I'll say that. I'll agree.
I guess that's from your father's side. Okay. Was there a movie or any source of inspiration that you kind of like, hey, I saw this and like I want to do that?
Man. Actually, there was. I remember I was obsessed with The Dark Knight, the second Batman. Like, as much... To me, that's a perfect movie. Like, honestly, the only thing that kills that from being a perfect movie for me is Christian Bale's Batman voice is the worst. Tell me where's the Joker? You know, I hated it. But...
I got asthma.
Yeah, right? But Heath Ledger and just... Watching that movie didn't feel like a movie to me. It really felt like art in motion. And it's crazy because, you know, now... all these years later, 35 superhero movies later, with Avengers coming out in like a week or whatever, it's almost played out, but I feel like that movie still stands out. And I can't really tell you what about it, but I feel like that movie really elicits such an emotional response. And I feel like that's the difference between cinema and like just video. And I just remember watching that and I was like, man, I really want to like be able to get into this world. Like this is amazing. And then, through my father and his palette in movies, my brother too. Just growing up watching probably movies I shouldn't have been watching. I remember like watching Goodfellas and Casino and all that growing up. Like I was really obsessed with like mob movies. There's just something so cool about that, and they don't make them anymore. But I saw that Scorsese's making The Irishman, so that should be pretty cool. But I guess those kind of movies were the ones that I was like really drawn to, and then. Yeah, I'll leave it at that because I don't want to just keep going down this deep rabbit hole.
Okay. After seeing those movies, did you decide to want to imitate or make like similar type of movies?
I just remember growing up, I always like wanted to get into entertainment somehow. And like at first, I thought I was gonna be in front of the camera. I thought I was gonna be like graduating high school. I thought I was gonna be like a Charlemagne the God, like a talk show host, like a radio personality. And I was like, that's kind of weird. That wasn't for me.
Says the person with a mic and headphones.
I mean,
doing a podcast.
You know, I'm in the right place. If only they could see this on that side, not behind me. But whatever. So like I was saying, I mean, to where I'm at now, it's funny because I really wanted to get into video. And I just remember I had a group of friends in high school and we were talking about doing videos and this and that, but then it was like, oh, we need someone on the cameras and someone on sound and someone on lights and actors and editors. And then before you know it, to get like a video done, you need a team of like 15 people. And have you ever tried bringing so many people together at one time? It's the biggest mission.
It's the headache.
It's the biggest mission, and no one's schedules ever worked out. So I was like, man, screw this. I'm just gonna take pictures instead. And like, cause my idea was that with photo, I could just depend on me. I don't need to depend on other people. I'll just make it happen. So that's actually what happened when I picked up the camera. I wanted to go in for video, but then I ended up leaning on photo, and then just to kind of like jump through. I ended up interning at FIU's marketing department, and that's where I kind of learned. That was the most, I guess, formal training for video I've had, and that's where I definitely got some roots in with that, and yeah, that's kind of what led me to where I'm at now.
What was the first camera that you had?
Oh,
and
man.
what were the first photos that you took? If you can go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a Nikon like 3200, and to me it was so dope. And then it's funny enough, I was running around at one point with my dad's camera, he would always tell me like, "Oh, just I need you to do this. I need you to help me out." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Dad, Bobby, I'm not gonna figure this out. Like, you know, to know how to learn this camera, I'm gonna have to go to school, and I need to do all this stuff to work it out." And then here I am later. I'm like, "Oh wow, like I guess I didn't need any of that. I guess I could definitely say my dad was right. You know, all I had to do was just apply myself." So yeah, I guess that's the story of that.
He charismatically took you under his wing. I'm like, let's take you to
I
this
wouldn't
thing
say
called life.
that,
and
but it
get
was more
experience.
along the lines of like, "People, ayúdame," and it was just like, "No, I can't help you," and it's just crazy back and forth. And then this is where I get to say I was wrong because he was right. You know.
Who knew? Did you? So your father saw it in you before.
I wouldn't say he saw it in me. He just needed it to get done. It wasn't
What were the
this
photos?
Disney fairy tale. He needed some photos at the shop. You know, he needed some help with some things over there.
Car, house, house, car.
So I hope you guys love this video and the videos that I have been producing.
Let's go.
I love the people, I love the guests. If there's any feedback that you would like to give me, please let me know in the comments below.
Yes.
If you can please subscribe. If there's any way that I can improve on it, let me know. I'll be glad to hear it. And I also want to know what's on your mind. This is an ongoing conversation.
Let's go.
I want to, understand you guys more. I want to provide more value, more content for you.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I can do, just please let me know. I'll gladly help out to the best of my abilities to provide you this content.
You're crushing it, bro. Let's go.